What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sharks Night Shift. No, I have not officially kicked off the program yet. I know some people are like, hey, you're not on camera, don't talk. This is how I'm going to do it until I'm actually ready to hit the go button. I mean, technically I've already started the stream and got some of the chat elements ready, but I'm not ready yet. I want everybody to take their time, come on in, make a comment in the live chat. Get rolling here in just a second. We had the win in overtime. We had the post-game show on television. I ditched the suit as quickly as I could. And now here we are. There's a lot to talk about. And for the first time this season, all of it, well, most all of it's good. Really good. All right. I think I'm ready. Are you ready? Night Shift, episode 6. The first one that gives us a victory. As soon as this music kind of hits here, get a nice spot. The crescendo. Here we go. Let's go.
Broadcasting live and worldwide. Here's Brody Brazil.
Yeah, now we got it. Ready? Welcome to Sharks Night Shift. 3-2 overtime win for Team Teal at Madison Square Garden. On a huge stage against a very good 3-1 Rangers team into tonight. Their power play, lethal. Their lineup, skillful. The Sharks had no momentum, no wins in 5 tries. They just got beat by the Islanders, allowing the final 3 goals of the game. And Nico Sturm had some strong words. David Quinn had some strong words after last game. So it kind of makes you wonder, like looking back at tonight, was it a response from the way last game went on Tuesday out on the island? And was tonight also, as much of it was a response, was it also a statement by this team that they did not quit? You could easily argue that they got better as the game went longer. It is still a rough second period, right? They still got outshot 13-4 and outscored 2-1 in that middle frame. That is just an area that is hard to not describe. Like, it's clear to see. They've been outscored 14-2 this entire season now. 14-3 this entire season now. But that's a very one-sided middle period still. Like, it's going to take some time to work yourself out of that. But other trends continued. Sharks scored first for a 5th straight game. They got a goal in the power play. It was the captain, Logan Couture. His second of the season, that long rebound, Cunnin and Carlson with assists. And so, yeah, now the Sharks still only 2 for 22 on the power play, but getting one tonight that made all the difference. They did allow the next 2 goals in the second period, first half of that. Philip Hedl, just an incredible stick lift on Cunnin, then walked it in, basically a one-on-none. And by the way, James Reimer allowing only these 2 goals on incredible plays by the New York Rangers. I think it's important to recognize when you make a mistake and you have to pay for it versus the other team is just that good. How about what turned into be a 3-on-2? Panarin and Adam Fox just playing a little pitch and catch. Panarin to Fox, back to Panarin. All of a sudden, 9:05 into the second period, it's 2-1. Okay, we had heard this story before, and this is kind of what I want to build up because it's important to understand where the Sharks were in this game before we get to the conclusion. Down 2-1, winless. The Rangers might score a 3rd goal in that second period, but they don't. In fact, the Sharks get the next one. Radim Šemek's first of the season, 13-10 in, and you already saw it, so I don't need to play you the clip, but I do want to add this thought. I mean, was that the most Brent Burns scoring play from a D-man you've seen since Burnsy was a Shark? and don't get me wrong, Carlson keeping it on his tape and his toe and everything else in between in overtime, that was equally impressive. But from a guy like Šimek, where maybe you don't expect that offense from him, you don't expect him to be jumping into play like he did and have Nieto feed him in the slot. And he breaks his stick too on the play. It was all just so like, when it happened, I clearly comprehended what I just witnessed, but I was like, I need to see like 6 replays of that. What in the world just happened? Kind of caught me off guard a little bit. But really happy to see that. And as you sum up the second period, Sharks get outshot heavily. Sharks get outscored 2-1. But still, based on how Middle Frames had went this year, still one of their best second periods of the season. And now, I hope they get drastically better than that. But it wasn't the complete implosion tonight as it had been in prior games. That was me dropping my pen, by the way. Stand by. That's not long enough for elevator music, which sometimes I will play. But I also want to address 2 things. The Sharks penalty kill, yet again, perfect tonight. And it was tested mightily, especially in the first period. The Sharks took 4 penalties in the first frame. Cunnin for interference. By the way, Luke Cunnin took 3 penalties tonight. Cunnin for interference. Benning chipped one over the glass for a delay of game. And then Šimek went in the box later for tripping. Oh, and then Cunnin went in later for slashing. So it was a cornucopia there of penalties and infractions by the Sharks. But, a first period where you scored, and you scored first, and you scored the only goal. But, man, that Ranger power play, if the Sharks' penalty kill wasn't as good as it has been, and if James Reimer wasn't as good as he has been, the Sharks could at least be tied or even down after 20 minutes. Instead, they were up 1-0. I want to throw this out there too. James Reimer's workload. We finally got away from the pair of back-to-backs to start the season, right? 2 in Prague and then 2 at SAP Center last weekend. It was clear to see that with these games on this road trip stretched out, I'm under the impression that Reimer will probably start 3 of 4. Now, I don't think he's going to start next game against the Devils. That's probably a Kähkönen start. I think. It's another back-to-back, right? Between New Jersey on Saturday morning and the Flyers on Sunday afternoon/evening, depending on where you're watching. To me, it seems likely and reasonable that you would do another split, and you'd probably get Kähkönen in there sooner than later so that he can avoid, just another extra day of rust, so to speak. But I think what's happening, right, is that Reimer has yet to have even a bad game. And you could throw scores out the window like last time out, 5-2. Okay, he wasn't on the ice for one of them. There were 2 incredibly skillful Islanders goals and plays, and then I think he was hung out to dry on another goal. So never yet a bad performance by James Reimer, or Kähkönen for that matter. But I think sometimes the defense and the team effort translates into a misconception about the goalie. And again, if you've been watching these games, you'll probably agree, nothing but good things from James Reimer so far this season. Let me just jump through and make sure I've got all the things I wanted to say here. 5 straight games scoring first. I know I touched on that before, but that in itself, of all the rough trends that we're not really thrilled about with the Sharks, right? And there's quite a few, like the power play, just lack of goals, second periods, depth scoring, all that stuff. One thing that's been great is their ability to score first. Now, before tonight, had it worked out in their favor? Ultimately, no. But to me, in watching the Sharks over all these years, there's something about being on the scoreboard first that kind of like punches in your time card to work. It lets you know that they're in the game, they're mentally and physically invested in the game, they've done something to get on the board first. Quite honestly, the Rangers, they had 2 grade A scoring chances within the first 20 seconds of tonight's game. It could have been 1 or 2-0 like that. And it wasn't. And instead, the Sharks score first, and now they're not the ones having to chase in this game. Look, they're going to go 5 and 6 games where the opponent scores first every time. Like, it's going to happen. I'm just saying, I hope people comprehend what we've been witnessing, these good starts. They don't always go like this. In fact, they should translate into better than they had been, but it is important that trend somewhat continues. Asking for it every single time, unrealistic, but it's been good when it's happened. Yeah, taking 4 penalties in a period, that wasn't great. Tonight's second period, I guess we'll call it the best of the season. It's as best as we've seen, I think, pretty much. I mean, not even scoring-wise, but they responded. I think, yeah, what's the best part about tonight's second period? Not getting outshot, not getting outscored. It's that you ultimately got the game-tying goal when you could have flopped and fell over, and Radim Simek did not do that. So look, was tonight a response from Quinn's comments and Nico's comments the other day? Maybe. Was it a statement? I don't know. Will we find out this weekend that Sharks win again on Saturday? Maybe even Sunday. Oh, then now they've won 3 in a row after losing their first 5 straight. I'm getting way ahead of myself here. But I think what they do next is important to all this. And I also want to say that no matter how this season started, we're not going to... It's nice to get the first one, right? Like, it's just nice to get that taste out of our mouths. It's nice to move on from the winless chapter. Now you can kind of officially start your season, if you will. All right, let's jump into the comments here. George checking in saying victory tastes sweet right now. Ooh, 3 pieces of cake. I'm hungry right now. That did not help. An ugly W beats a pretty L. Yeah, no, I don't think tonight was entirely ugly. It was not, it wasn't like the Sharks had any comfort factor in the game at all. They were, only had a 1 lead, right? They had a lead from, most of the first period. 6:02 when Logan scored to 1:50 of the second when Hedl scored. So, yeah, they led for about a little bit less than a third of tonight. But, yeah, not comfortable by any means. Sharks were very competitive tonight. It would be cool to hear from Mike Grier and what he saw his team in this particular game. Real growth in character and textbook tenacity. Team spirit is growing. I would say, Tony, and I agree with you on the foundations of that, but I think you need to kind of see what happens. And this is what I was excuse me, I was trying to get to before, but kind of lost my train on it. What's a good road trip right now for the Sharks of these 4 games? You lost your first one. You win this one in overtime. I mean, at this point, splitting the weekend and coming back with 2 wins in 4 games, it's achievable and it's not bad by any means. If you come home with 1 win, right, and you had the streak and then you win tonight and then you lose quick back-to-back games, you're kind of 1 step forward, 1 step back. You're right back kind of where you started from and being probably frustrated all over again. So, gotta probably get one this weekend to feel good about the road trip. And honestly, it would be a boost to come back 500 like that. What a game, what a win. Sharks finally won in New York. Cole, Bedard? Now? Really? By the way, Scott Hannon and we were masterminding tonight our Connor Bedard segment that we're going to do on Sunday. Like, we're going to do a full dive on Connor Bedard. How this works, who to compare him to. I'm not saying we have the answer, is he the real deal? Dude's only 17, but how does this work? The maturation process of a young hockey player that you can already see. Like, how does it translate? So we're gonna get into all that. I'm actually quite looking forward to it because so many people have been putting, there it is, this comment on my Twitter, Instagram, YouTube live streams, you name it. So I'm finally gonna respond in hopefully an educated way about Connor Bedard. They say you can be anything in New York. The Sharks became winners tonight. Is that are you quoting lyrics? I believe there, Michael. Lovely victory. Let's keep the momentum going. Laura, when the Rangers took the lead, I was like, not another second period downfall. And that's kind of the, to me, that's the response and that's part of the statement. And that's why the second period might have been their best of the year. Yeah, it wasn't for a lot of reasons, but it was only for one reason, that they came back and tied it. They got the game back to level. If this team plays the rest of the year like they did in that third, they could find a wild card spot. What an effort. Happy to see Karlsson get the OT winner. I think, Christopher, they've got a long ways to go on that note, but I will agree with you that what you saw in the final 20 is the blueprint. And it didn't even get them a goal, right? Didn't even produce a change in the scoreboard, but momentum. I mean, look at the Sharks before Karlsson got the game winner. Wasn't it Timo and Hertl who almost scored on like the shift before? Takeaway by Timo, got it to Hertl. So I've always liked the Sharks 3-on-3. Even in their rough last couple seasons, they still have enough high-end skilled players that when it goes time to be 3-on-3, I feel like they always have a good chance to get that last goal. And yeah, the Karlsson goal was pretty unbelievable. How he kept control of that puck. Being tugged and grabbed and all that stuff on his tape to his toe, back to his stick. He poked it over to Timo, and Timo poked it right back to him. It's pretty incredible. Second period, bent but didn't break. I'd agree with that. It could have easily been a 3-1 or a 3-0 second period. Instead, 2-1 was just enough. Best energy and team effort so far this season. I would say one of the second Nashville game was also pretty good, but yeah, I mean, of the 6 we've witnessed so far, this one, not just the result, honestly, even if they lost on a fluky overtime goal tonight, which was very possible, and they still picked up a point, I would be on here right now telling you that the effort was there, the result was not. And that was encouraging enough. But tonight, effort and the result. You get to eat your cake, or have your cake and eat it too. Meier's been pretty quiet on the scoreboard. Contract year, frustration, of course. Of course he is. But I mean, look at tonight. And being a key contributor to earn his team 2 points when they needed him the most. Gained momentum through the third that they got to work on that second period stretch. Totally agree. Totally agree. Finally, 65 had his offense outplay his defensive shortcomings. Should really consider making 65 a forward, kind of like the opposite of what we did for Bernsey. Well, wait a second, Aaron. Bernsey was a forward. Oh, I see you're saying Bernsey was originally way back when forward turned defenseman. I don't know. I think what 65 offers you are those outlet stretch passes that you needed a defenseman to be making. So I did not hear the Rangers broadcasters ragging on EK65. I wasn't tuned into that feed, so. Does anyone think that it's a coincidence that Curtis Brown was not interpreting the game and suddenly the Sharks had puck luck, played like a new team? Brownie must be loving this W in OT by EK. You know what? I just got a text message here from Brownie. Let me see if I can. Curtis says, this is a direct quote, a direct text from Curtis. I guess we know who the problem was. And then this face. And then our producer Chelsea says, game-winning chains made their debut. And yeah, did everybody see the... I don't know if the screen might be too bright here. Let me try and turn it down a little bit. Here we go. Yep, there we go. I guess I should... can I put it closer? There we go. That autofocus on this camera is pretty impressive that it locks onto that. Big Bird still thinks it might be the new unis. Nope. See, got to cross that off the list too. I don't want to hear it about the New Jerseys being unlucky. By the way, it's still weird to say New Jerseys when the next opponent is New Jersey. Never mind. And Brandon with a great point here that we made on postgame that I have not talked about yet here. Finally nice to get that win, especially for Quinn. Sharks can use this game as a springboard. This team can be good and start winning games if they finally figure out those second periods. I think, Brandon, there's two things. Quinn, yes, 100% great story. You know, for him to get the win, but I think for the team to rally in this game and the timing of that, incredible, right? And it's a personal story and it does mean something. No doubt about that. So there are deeper levels and layers to that. As for the rest of your comment here, I want to temper my excitement about tonight. Great win. Love the fact that they turned it on and showed you who they were. They bent but didn't break, as a lot of people have said. But to be a playoff team, you need to do this I don't even want to say on a consistent basis. You need to do this on a regular basis. Are they capable of that? I would hope so, right? Like, but that's, see, that, like, it's one thing to do it, but it's another thing to do it over and over and when you least expect it and when you're not supposed to. Like, that is when I think we get to, playoff conversation, things like that. But again, I still think the entire franchise is in a process right now. Did I hear the New York broadcasters calling out EK65, how horrible he's been since he beat the Blue Shirts while he was in Ottawa? No, I did not. Did not. Let's see here. The game was okay, but I'm sure we all want to know when the Brody bling goes on sale in the Shark store. I think we got those from the NHL shop, to be honest with you. How about number 7, a new jumbo? Yeah, the Nico Sturm comments, people, jumbo, how about Ryan Clough or Dan Boyle? I mean, the way that he phrased what he did after last game and played a gritty game tonight. And here's Broden with the comment right after that. I absolutely love Nico Sturm. I think they might have found something here, definitely. And it's nice to have an addition this year that's not a young player that that's like ready for this league and is ready to contribute and ready to have those types of sentiments after tough losses. I really like that. I really, really did. Am I concerned about Banker, who was a healthy scratch tonight? We haven't talked about that. Not concerned. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not an injury. I hope the message was sent and received and is responded to. And for Banker, that's not fun. I mean, you're in your home. He's from New York. And to get scratched like that in front of, probably an audience that came to see him play and parents live out there. It's not great. But I hope it's all about the response. Finally saw Hurdle and Timo get those shots. Yeah, in overtime, they almost won it, those two. Riley's predicting that Logan scores first again next game. I would take that, especially on the power play. Broden, thank you for being here on the live stream. I do appreciate that. And thank you for being here on the Super Chat. Greatly appreciated. I've had a chance to watch the CUDA. Fun team. I have not, because both games they've played back against Iowa, we had games those nights. And the live stream, I'm keeping up with the score and all that stuff, but hard to multitask, especially getting ready for shows. But to your point about a fun team, I really like John McCarthy's group this year. And I like that the fact that the CUDA are stacked with young players that are the next big thing for the Sharks. I don't want them to rush. Honestly, one of the better things for the Sharks this year would be if the Barracuda dominate and the individuals dominate and the team gets some chemistry and they're a cohesive unit and they are fun to play. Sorry, they're fun to watch and tough to play against. And Eklund racks up the stats and Bordeleau does the same and Ryan Merkley is doing his thing and Weisblatt and Co. and all the above. All the above. And there's more than that. I know those are the common names I always mention, but there's even more than that. I would love to see that team just be ridiculously overripe, over-talented. And then start dispersing them. Bring them up to the Sharks. See how it goes. Jose says, we're way better than our record. Yes. Yeah, yes, for sure. Okay. Not a lot. I mean, let's not be deceived here tonight by what happened. I'm happy about it, but and you all know me as being a glass half full type person on this. But I also, in this case, of the 6 games, I want to say the Sharks have been in. Let's see, 1 there, 2 against Carolina, not really against it. 3, 4, 3.5 out of 6. So. Yeah, I mean, could they have won the Carolina game? Yeah, they allowed a late second period goal, late third period goal. They lose the game 2-1 at home against a very, very tough Carolina team, but they were right in it. So could have won maybe the second Nashville game. So I agree with you to that point, but maybe not worlds better than the 1-5 record they're at right now. VK65 can play like that consistently, we'd be competitive. I just think he also needs targets to pass to. He needs teammates to help get the numbers up and the scoring up. Kind of looks rough. Though, honestly, the first couple games of the year, I thought he was one of the better players. So let's give it some time. Let's see how this goes. Laura's still waiting for Timo time to get it going. And that's another one. When he starts the scoring, I do think the floodgates will open, but it hasn't happened yet. Alden, I think you made that comment about Nico Sturm. We need another Boiler/Ryan Clough type on the ice and in the room. And maybe Nico Sturm is that guy. Honestly, since those two that you mentioned there, who else has kind of filled that role? I don't know. I can't remember somebody, as prominent and as regular with those type of comments. Valar Morghulis. I know what that is. And see, if I didn't watch Game of Thrones, how would I have known? By the way, House of Dragons is almost done. Their last episode is coming up on Sunday. Can't believe that. Nieto was solid tonight. I agree. If the offense continues to lull, do you think it accelerates the call-up timeline? No, I don't. And I actually hope not. Those three specifically, I hope, are only called up when ready and when it makes the most sense. The Sharks finally getting to 3 tonight. I mean, they have been 2 or fewer 5 games in a row. Tonight, they get to 3, but only in overtime, but still, they get to 3. So we're not 2 or fewer. Valar Morghulis. It's okay. I thought you were just entering the chat with that. Besides waiting for the Brody bling, where is the Brody bobble? Oh, Sharky said that? I'll make Sharky's head bobble. I'm like doing the punching bag on him. Just kidding. Vancouver lost in overtime. Wow, they're 0-3-2. Wow. All right, well, I think that might be it tonight for the old Sharks night shift. I'm glad everybody was here. It's again, I think it's just to summarize tonight. It's a storyline that they played a lot better, right? If their trend had been good first periods, awful second periods, and nothing in third periods, which reminds me something here. Sharks scored in overtime tonight. You know what that means? Wait, let me see if I can do it here.
They still don't have a third period goal.
Did you hear what I just said? That effect might have been too much. They still don't have
a third period goal.
So we'll wait for that trend to be broken maybe next game. Yeah, you're going to have to eventually get a third period goal. This year, outscoring opponents 7-1 in first periods. That's great. Getting outscored 14-3 in middle periods and getting outscored 6-0 in third periods. But tonight they played their first bonus hockey. They kind of dominated overtime too. That was important. So I appreciate everybody for being here. First win of the season. Hey, by the way, here on the channel, if you're about to tune out, let me just offer you this. I just posted a Mike Grier interview, the long form edition of it. I think it's like 12 or 13 minutes. Check that out. That just went up live this morning. And also, stay tuned. We're going to have the full David Quinn interview. We played a portion of it tonight on television. We're going to play a second half on Sunday. But that full interview is coming up soon as well. So I appreciate everybody for the support. Thank you for being here tonight. Back again on Saturday and Sunday, 2 weekend games. But first win of the season. It's time to go out and enjoy. All right? Be safe, everybody. Talk to you soon.